fertile soil, you got all types of things growing, fruits, vegetables, all kinds of animals, insects, so you think about these things before you try to put something bad towards your own people or your own skin complexion. In the growth of things, the darker the soil, the more fertile it is, the more minerals it has, the more that can grow out of it. So I want you to just think about it. I'm here to try to help change your mindset. So be that way. Start changing your mindset. Start thinking about things. And audience, if you are of European descent, this is not meant to be racist. This is for my people. This is for people of color who've been degraded for all their lives, their ancestors and stuff. All their lives they've been degraded, and it's not good when it's like that. We need to, y'all come on in, sit on down. I see some of our artists have arrived, but we want y'all to know you don't degrade yourself. See, when we get out here and we calling ourselves every derogatory name in the book, see, we degrading ourselves. White folks ain't got to do it for us. We doing it to our doggone selves. We should be uplifting each other. You should always remember, King Tut was a young man of color. Penicillin was made by a man with a French name who was of color. See, wouldn't be penicillin, a lot of us be around here with a withered up. You know what I'm saying? So you got to think about it, and it's always to be positive to us. We got to help each other out and stop putting each other down. Our kids, I see them. Like I tell you about my trips on the train. All week I see our kids running around like they don't have parents. Then the young mothers curse like sailors at the child. Now, if you learn how to take and manage yourself, you can manage that child without all that, especially in public. It take a tribe. At least when I came up, it took a tribe to raise me. That meant the whole neighborhood. I get my butt whooped down on the corner by Mrs. Jones, and if Mr. Jackson saw me, he whooped my butt too. And then when I got home, my mama whooped my butt there too. And it just went on. I've had incidents where I done things at school. My teacher got me, the principal got me, my mama got me, and I went over my grandmama's house and she got me. But it was all for the betterment of me. It wasn't that they was being mean or so hard. It was to better me, to make me think, wake me up, to say, hey, you can go that pathway. But when that man closed that cell door and you hear that clink, we ain't coming to get you. You gonna be there. You and Bubba. Like I tell you, Bubba, most all the time, he's a big guy. And he ain't seen a woman in 10, 15 years. And you walk up in there, Bubba got something for you. So, we just got to learn to be mindful. And, think positive. Do positive things. Help take care of your community. Today, one of my things I was talking to some people about was over near my office at the bus stop, there's a trash can. There was more trash outside of the can than it was in the can. Now I'm wondering, how do you get that close to a trash can and you miss the whole thing? Then later on this evening, I went and had me a little burger before coming here, I'm standing, I'm waiting. Guy come down the street with a cup, 2 feet from the trash can, drop it on the ground. This is in our neighborhood. This is us doing this. We are trashing our own home. That's what we doing. Then we trashing our own minds. All the young brothers who y'all will see on my stage, they'll tell you. I tell them everything needs to be radio ready. Everything needs to be positive. We don't need all that derogatory. It's so much underground crap out there in the industry of music. They ain't going nowhere. They still underground. They're still under the ground. They're never going to materialize. People that know me know I got a nephew, been in the business 15 going on 20 years. He's still underground. He's only great in his mind and about 5 other people. But now my boy can throw down. Got some beats out of this world. He can rap. I mean, to the maximum. I put him up against most of these artists that are on the billboard at any time. But he will not clean up his verbiage. He can't go nowhere. Can't go nowhere. Now we're going to go on to my subject. And tonight, there again, we're doing separation of church and state. And you know how I am. I got me somebody. I was sitting up, I was watching him. And this guy actually was telling his viewers and his members that they need to vote Republican. Now, granted, some years ago, a lot of y'all black Democrats might not know this, but this beginning of freedom that we had as black people come from Republicans, not Democrats. So, but you need to do a little research. You know, I always challenge you to do some of your own research. Can't tell you everything where to go, but Wikipedia is a good place to start. Talk to some of your elders, especially if you find them in their 80 plus years, some of the 70, 60-year-olds who've spoken with their elders. You can find a lot of things, you know. I always tell y'all, when I was a little young man, around 7, 8 years old, we were still riding on the back of the bus, and that wasn't by choice. That was in Macon, Georgia. That was in the 60s. To some people who are a generation or two younger than me, that was a long time ago, but to me, that was yesterday. And I'm here. I'm not 50 yet. So, it wasn't that long ago. But I was watching the Boob Tube, and Pastor Roger Presley, World Harvest Church out of Ohio, well-known minister, very well-known. He travels all over the country, all over the world. He got some Feed the Hungry thing where, you know, he's in Africa and some of the third world countries with this. But this man has forgotten about separation of church and state. Instead of preaching, he was telling people how to vote. He was actually putting down our present government official. I wonder why. I remember him when Bush was in there, and I never heard any of these bad things come out of his mouth. And not saying he was saying, you know, bad things, but he was sort of pointing that finger. So Presley, tonight I'm pointing the finger back at you. You keep politics out of your religious facility, and you save souls. You're not a politician. You're not there to tell people how to vote. Black folks, you know, when it's voting time, every politician in the country start popping up in y'all's church, standing up in y'all's pulpit with y'all's ministers. Gotta tell you something. You're powerful. That's one reason they come. But the First Amendment says that nobody is supposed to put any pressure on a church for what they're doing, nor is the church supposed to put any pressure on the political side of our government. Where did this all start? You got to remember now, back in the days, King James and all them folks back in those days, the church ruled. One of the most powerful people in the world right now.